Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm 34 years old, and if you asked anyone around me a year ago, they'd probably tell you I had the perfect life. Loving husband, a stable job teaching third graders, a cozy little house in a nice neighborhood, and the kind of best friend every girl dreams of. Her name was Natalie. We'd been best friends since we were 14. We did everything together. School dances, college applications, late-night calls after stupid breakups. She was like the sister I never had. So naturally, when I met Daniel, my now ex-husband, it was only a matter of time before I introduced him to Natalie too. And that was the beginning of the end. I didn't notice anything off at first. Natalie was always flirty, but she was flirty with everyone. Daniel didn't seem to mind it either, and honestly, why would he? She was my best friend. She helped me plan our wedding, picked out my dress, even gave a tearful speech at our reception. I used to think I was lucky to have both of them in my life. Turns out I was just blind. The first red flag was small. It was a weird late-night text I saw when Daniel left his phone on the kitchen counter. Just a heart emoji from N. Nothing else. He said it was Natalie saying good night. I laughed it off. She was weird like that. But then there were more signs. He started coming home later. Natalie stopped hanging out with me as much. She always had some excuse. I started feeling like the third wheel in my own marriage. One night I got drunk and did the thing I swore I'd never do. Snoop. I opened Daniel's email. And what I found shattered me. An email chain going back months. Private jokes, hotel receipts, photos I wish I could erase from my brain. The worst part. They were planning to tell me after her birthday. As if they needed one last celebration before they stabbed me in the heart. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I made a plan. I don't know how long I sat there, just staring at the screen. It was like I was watching someone else's nightmare. Except every email, every message, every "can't wait to see you tonight" red heart, was addressed to my husband and my best friend. I wanted to scream, throw the laptop across the room, burn every photo of our wedding. But I didn't. I just sat there in this eerie, frozen calm. The next morning, Daniel walked into the kitchen like nothing happened. Kissed me on the cheek, asked if I wanted pancakes. He nodded. And I made him pancakes. I don't think I said more than 5 words to him that day. Or the day after. He barely noticed. That's when I realized how far gone he really was. A few days later, Natalie texted me. "Can we grab coffee soon? I miss you, red heart." I stared at that little heart for 10 minutes. She was bold, I'll give her that. I agreed. I needed to look her in the eyes. At the cafe, she hugged me like nothing was wrong. Same fake laugh, same chirpy tone. I ordered black coffee. She ordered her usual soy vanilla latte. She started talking about her birthday party plans. How excited she was. How Daniel had been so helpful. And then she dropped this line. I'll never forget it. You know, if I ever found someone like Daniel, I'd lock him down in a heartbeat. I almost laughed. Almost. That night I confronted Daniel. I waited until he got out of the shower. I was sitting on the bed, laptop open. "You left your email open." His face changed instantly. Like a storm just passed over it. "Lauren, how long?" Yes. He didn't answer. "How long?" 8 months. That was it. No begging. No real apology. Just 8 months. I asked him to leave. He said he would in the morning. He didn't leave. For the next week, we were strangers living in the same house. I cried in the bathroom with the shower running. I stopped eating. My students started asking me if I was okay. I told them I had allergies. Then came the final blow. Daniel officially moved out. To Natalie's condo. She didn't even bother hiding it. She posted a selfie of them at brunch on Instagram. Captioned it. "Starting a new chapter, 2 hearts." Friends stopped calling. Some of them picked sides. Some were just cowards. My mom said, "You're better off." I didn't feel better. I felt like I'd been erased. Until the invitation came. A gold-trimmed envelope with cursive writing. You are cordially invited to celebrate the wedding of Daniel Carter and Natalie Brooks. I stared at that thing for an hour. My hands were shaking. But somewhere in the middle of that rage, a strange calm came over me. I knew what I had to do. I wasn't going to cry anymore. I was going to RSVP yes. And I was going to make that day unforgettable. For both of them. After I RSVP'd yes, something inside me clicked. I wasn't broken anymore. I was dangerous, but not in the way they expected. See, Natalie always painted me as the sweet one. The one who'd bake you cookies when you had a bad day. Who cried during commercials. Who didn't raise her voice, even when someone deserved to be screamed at. That version of me was dead. I started small. I needed intel. So I refollowed Natalie on Instagram. She followed me back immediately, probably thinking I was trying to heal. Every day she posted about the wedding. The venue, the dress, the color palette. I watched everything. The wedding was going to be at a vineyard an hour outside the city. Super bougie. Rustic. Classy. 150 guests. She posted their registry. He tagged vendors. She posted her bridal party lineup. All this info. And she had no idea I was collecting it like a detective. I even went so far as to create a fake wedding planning Pinterest account. Followed her boards. Left supportive comments. She ate it up. You should do a champagne tower. I suggested. Guess what? They did. Daniel didn't post as much. But when he did, it was just embarrassing. Post photos. Fake smiles. One of him holding her dog with the caption, "Dad life starts now." I created a burner email account. I emailed their DJ under the name Tessa Blake, claiming to be Natalie's maid of honor. She lost track of her final playlist. Could you resend it? He did. I knew every song they'd walk into. The first dance. The father-daughter moment. I even knew she was planning a surprise performance for Daniel. I wasn't going to ruin their day. I was going to rewrite it. About 3 weeks before the wedding, I booked a hair and makeup trial with the same vendor Natalie had tagged. She had no idea she wasn't there that day. The stylist complimented my bone structure. Asked what the event was. "Oh, just my ex-husband's wedding," I smiled. Her eyes widened. "So, revenge glam." "Exactly." I picked a deep emerald satin gown. Backless. Classy but lethal. I wanted to be a car crash they couldn't stop staring at. I hit the gym. Clean. Drank water like it was holy. Not because I needed to change, but because I wanted to remind them what they threw away. 1 week before the wedding, I sent out anonymous letters to 3 of Natalie's bridesmaids. Nothing cruel. Just hints. Screenshots. A printout of a dating app profile Daniel had made during their honeymoon phase. I didn't want them to back out. I wanted them to be uncomfortable. I wanted those fake smiles to tremble. The night before the wedding, I stayed in a little B&B near the venue. It was peaceful. I listened to the playlist they'd walk into. Practiced smiling in the mirror. I wasn't nervous. I was ready. I printed out the emails. Photos. Their messages from the affair. I bound them into a little white book. No title on the cover. Just blank. I placed it in a cream-colored gift bag with a gold bow. The card read, "Something borrowed." The morning of the wedding was perfect. Sunny 76 degrees with a light breeze. I arrived exactly 20 minutes before the ceremony. The coordinator asked who I was. "I'm Lauren Carter," I said loud and clear. Her eyes widened. She whispered into her headset. "She's not on the guest list," I heard. Smiled. "Actually, I RSVP'd yes. You'll find the confirmation." Daniel hadn't updated the list. Of course he hadn't. The poor woman panicked, then waved me through. I took my seat in the 3rd row. Right side. Perfect view. When Daniel walked out, his eyes scanned the guests. When he saw me, he froze for half a second, then looked away. Natalie didn't see me until she walked down the aisle. Her eyes widened. But she didn't stop walking. The ceremony went off as expected. Vows, rings, kiss. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, I clapped. Loudly. People turned to look. I didn't care. At the reception, I waited until they were mingling. Then I approached the gift table. Placed the cream-colored bag gently between a blender and an envelope from Uncle Paul. No one noticed. Then I walked up to the bar. Tequila soda, extra lime. The bartender smiled. Rough day. Smirk. Not anymore. I didn't stay for the whole thing. I made sure to dance once. I chatted with 2 distant relatives who didn't recognize me. I made them laugh. Then, right before they cut the cake, I slipped away. My Uber driver asked if I had fun. I said, it was unforgettable. 2 days later I got a message. Private number. You think that was funny? I didn't reply. A second message. You ruined everything. I still didn't reply. Later that night, I received an email from one of Natalie's bridesmaids. Just 3 words. I believe you. Revenge doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes it's a whisper that never leaves their head. Sometimes it's a gift they'll never dare to open again. You'd think the high would wear off, right? That after you serve someone a cold dish of revenge, you'd go back to feeling empty. But nah. I woke up the morning after the wedding in that same B&B, made myself a strong cup of coffee, and watched the sun rise like it owed me something. And for the first time in months I smiled. Not a sad smile. Not one of those tight fake ones. Real one. I was still smiling when I turned on my phone. 17 messages. 3 from Daniel. 1 from Natalie. The rest were random numbers or blocked senders. I didn't open any of them. I just deleted everything. I'd said what I needed to say. Not with words but with evidence. With truth. With elegance. And the best part. I never even had to raise my voice. By the end of that week the fallout began. One of Natalie's cousins, Tina I think, posted a cryptic Facebook status. Weddings should bring people together, not expose dirty secrets. Then someone else commented, some people deserve the chaos they plant. Then another, plot twist, the ex-wife had more grace than the bride. It was like watching an avalanche from a safe distance. A mutual friend texted me a week later. Oh. Daniel's been staying at a hotel. Something about trust issues. Natalie's been crying at work. Oh no. That's terrible, I replied. I added a crying emoji. Then deleted it. Too much. A month later, I got a DM from someone I hadn't heard from in years. Rachel, one of the bridesmaids. Hey. I just wanted to say, what you did. That was art. I was there. I saw the look on her face when she opened that gift bag. She turned gray. Daniel tried to pretend it was nothing, but she wouldn't even hold his hand during their first dance. Just wow. You won. And I hope you're thriving. I replied. I am. I started painting again. It was something I'd given up during the marriage. Daniel said it was a cute hobby, but he never took it seriously. I turned my spare bedroom into a studio. I filled it with light and silence and brush strokes that made no sense but felt right. I took a solo trip to Italy. Sat on balconies. Pasta alone. Laughed out loud in public. People kept telling me how brave I was. I wasn't brave. I was just done letting people write my story for me. Then, one afternoon, maybe 6 months later, I got an email. Subject line. I need to explain myself. From Natalie. My stomach dropped. Not because I cared, but because I expected her to show up eventually. I hovered over the delete button. Then I clicked open. It was long. Rambling. Apologetic. She claimed she never meant to hurt me. That she thought Daniel would leave me anyway. That she fell in love, against her better judgment. That I made the wedding about you. That last line made me laugh out loud. She ended it with, if you could ever forgive me, please write back. I miss our friendship. I miss you. For a second, a literal second, I felt something like pity. Then I remembered her sipping a latte, talking about locking Daniel down, while she was sleeping with my husband behind my back. I didn't reply. I printed out the email, tore it into tiny pieces, and used it as kindling in my fireplace. Sometimes I wonder if Daniel and Natalie stayed together. If they went to therapy. If they convinced themselves they were victims of a cruel, vindictive woman who ruined their big day. Maybe they did. But deep down I know this. Every time they look at their wedding photos they'll see me. Third row, emerald dress, calm smile. The ghost they tried to bury, still standing. And that, my friend, is how I took everything they built on betrayal and made it my stage. Not with violence. Not with screaming. Just the truth. And patience. The kind of revenge you don't recover from. The kind that lives in your wedding album forever. So if you're sitting there right now, staring at a betrayal you never asked for, just know this. You don't have to destroy yourself to make a point. You just have to stand still, long enough for them to destroy each other.